summer sale? More like a summer scam. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back. I'm Supreme Verdicts, practicing attorney by day and a magic strategist by night. After a long day of working on the rule of law, I come home to master the laws of magic. Today, we're going to be talking about a scam going on in the arena store. Well, sorta, kinda. For the first time in my living memory, we have the opportunity to buy specific wildcards. This is a limited time offer, and I feel like it's correlated to the summer sale as this came up as soon as that became available. So hopefully it'll stick around for at least a few more days. But I couldn't help but notice some of the prices here are a little outrageous. For common wildcards, it's 80 gems for 40 common wildcards, uncommon 120 for 20. And then we get to the rares and the mythics, where it's 4 rares or 4 mythics for 2,000 or 4,000 gems each. That is a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs prices. Now, previously, and notably not currently offered anymore on the shop, you used to be able to get 4 rare wildcards or 4 mythic wildcards for $10 or $20 each. Now, they got rid of that. I honestly kind of hated it. I felt like it encouraged people to just spend more money. At least this time, it's in gems, which, if you didn't know, gold is, oh wow, it says it. Earn gold by winning games and completing quests. Gems, you can either purchase in the store over here, and it does get a little cheaper per gem as you get to some of the outrageous $200 prices, but you can cultivate a large amount of gems for free by winning gold through quests and playing games, and then going and playing actually in Magic Arena. I know, can you imagine actually playing something? But for example, going to any of the drafts. In drafts, you can pay with either gold or gems, but you win gems back. And so this is kind of the conversion metric of turning your gold into gems, which then lets you buy a lot more things in the store. And specifically with this offering, where you can only pay in gems, you can potentially get wildcards. Wildcards are going to be better than pretty much just opening random cards because you actually get to pick what you get. So rather than getting stuck with some bad rare or some very niche mythic, you can actually use them to craft the deck. However, it's not worth it at a certain price due to a couple of factors built into Arena. For example, when you're buying packs that are currently in Standard, you get these little tokens that kind of build up to a golden pack. Every 10 packs that you buy, you are then able to get an additional golden pack. These golden packs will open up and have, I think it's 6 different cards at random from the current standard legal format of rare and mythic that comes into it. And when you start to do some of the math, looking at how much, looking at how much it costs to buy certain amounts of gems versus packs, one pack being 200 gems, give or take, and then you go back to this deal, it just doesn't provide a lot of value here. For example, if we go by the previous metric of 4 rare wildcards for $10 or 4 mythic for $20, for that same equivalent here, in order to buy that amount of gems, $20 gets you 3,400 gems, which is not quite enough to be able to get the 4,000 gems for 4 mythics. Once you start buying gems at like the massive amount, sure, it becomes almost worth it, but both of these pale in comparison to just going ahead and buying standard legal packs. The standard legal packs will not only get you up to the golden pack, which gives you additional rares, but in addition to that, you also get wildcard progression. When you open packs, you get these little tick boxes, 6 before you get a rare wildcard, and then every 4 full cycles that you complete, you get a mythic wildcard. At the end of the day here, I've got a little bit of math here that I wrote out earlier. If we were to, let's say, 4,000 gems for 4 mythic wildcards, right? That was the conversion. Did I get that wrong? I think I may have gotten that wrong. It's what? That just sounds like so much. Nope, 4,000 gems for 4 mythic wildcards. For 4,000 gems at the cost of, nope, bear with me. At the cost of 2,200, gems per pack, we can get 20 packs. For those 20 packs, I'm not mathing. Yes, 20 packs. For those 20 packs, we are then able to get an additional 2 golden packs. So it's going to equal a total of 22 packs. 22 packs that when you buy will also give you additionally, on top of that, that's going to be 3 rare wildcards automatically, because every 6 that you open will then give you an additional rare wildcard. And depending where you are in the cycle, it might be a mythic wildcard instead. So for the same cost as getting 4 mythic wildcards, which granted can be any card, you can instead get 22 packs worth. 2 of those packs have extra rares in them, as well as 3 rare wildcards. And in a world where rares are a lot harder to kind of come by in terms of they're more generally useful versus mythics that tend to be slotted into niche exceptions in card design, there are exceptions, of course, to the rule, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. On top of this, we kind of add in the last element of the fact that you have vault progression that you can do. And that's where kind of my argument comes in, that the rares and the mythics in this offering are not worth it at all. They are ridiculously expensive, and just, it's not a particularly good deal. It's almost better to just target a specific set trying to get that rare or mythic because of all the side benefits of cards you get in. But for wildcard progression, the uncommon and common slots might actually be viable. What do I mean by this? Vault progression is the idea whenever you open a 5th card of something. For example, if I have 4 Boomerang Basics already in my collection, when I open a 5th copy of Boomerang Basics in a pack, then instead of that card being added to my pool, because I can only have 4 of a card in my collection, instead it gets added to the vault progression, the percentage there. When I get to 100%, I get automatically 3 uncommon wildcards, 2 rare wildcards, and 1 mythic wildcard. What you can do with the common and uncommon wildcards is go and find a set that you've completed a substantial amount of. For example, for me, we'll use Avatar: The Last Airbender as an example. I have every common and every uncommon completed. I've collected all of them. So anytime I get any common or any uncommon, automatically I get higher vault progression. What I could then do, for example, let's say I really want the Shocklands from Lorwyn Eclipsed. I can go to Lorwyn Eclipsed. I can buy enough of the common and uncommon wildcards to finish my collecting of all the commons and uncommons, and then every Lorwyn Eclipse pack that I open, I'm getting vault progression, or I'm just opening a pack and increasing my chance of getting a valuable card, like the Shocklands. This can make it so that on average, I'm upping my percentage of getting cards that are more worthwhile or getting wild cards. You can see a direct example of this. Let's just go ahead, go to the store, and we'll go and we'll buy an Avatar pack. I love Avatar. We'll buy it with gold, because why not? And then when I go to pack, currently I'm at 83.1% vault percentage. So now every pack that I open from here on out, and again, we can use that previous example, what I get. All cards I already have. So it just ups my vault protection to 84.2%. That's almost a 1% increase. Every pack I open is effectively a 1% increase in vault collection. So now when I buy those 20 packs that we originally talked about, instead of getting the mythics, the 4 of mythics, I spend my gems on just buying a bunch of packs. I'm also upping my vault percentage by 20%. This makes it even sooner that I'm just going to get additional wildcards. Overall, I don't think this deal is good at all for the rares and mythics, for the reason I told you. I think you're better off just buying packs and targeting things, or waiting, because tomorrow, after I release this video, there is an announcement that says that we are going to have rare and mythic cards in the daily deals. There's always a chance that that last card you need for a deck is available, and you can just buy it there, and hopefully the prices will be a little bit better. I heard that if you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, that the prices will in fact be half off on the day that this releases. But if it's not a good deal, there are still other options. Like I said, common and uncommon, you can go ahead and buy in bulk. That's kind of what I've been doing, because I think this is a pretty good deal for the commons and uncommons. I just think it's fun. I also like completing the percentages. There's a certain aspect of collection to Magic the Gathering that I do find enjoyable. And then it makes it a little bit easier for me to complete vault progression, especially after I finish drafting a set. I also want to point out that there are some notable uncommons that are the backbone of a variety of different standard strategies. Sheltered by Ghosts is a great example. Any creature-based strategy that is playing white is going to want this exile effect that also gives +1 lifelink and ward to. That's such a good card. Stock Up. has absolutely broken wide as the card advantage card of choice for any deck playing blue, even at sorcery speed. And Tablet of Discovery is currently sweeping the metagame right now with a variety of strategies, from Borrow Spells to Jeskai Revelation to 4-color control. This card has become just a powerhouse. Having additional uncommon wild cards allows you to just continuously craft any of these that you might need in order to form the backbone of a deck, and then only require a few rares that allow you to play it. For example, there's always going to be a white weenie deck that is mostly commons and uncommons, or some kind of blue spells deck that can be built with uncommons and commons. Tablet Discovery slots a little poorly into mono red aggro, but I'm sure there is an equivalent at play here. And the additional uncommon wildcards are also very helpful in games such as Brawl, where there's a variety of specific niche 2-color Signpost cards that were prominent in their particular draft format, but might not be as common. Funny enough, they're uncommon, of course. For example, if you're building any kind of Azorius Flicker deck, you're going to want a Soul Herder. That is, without a doubt. If you're playing a Rakdos Sacrifice deck, you want Mayhem Devil. These cards are a little niche. If you're playing an Azorius deck, an Azorius control deck, Soul Herder is a little worse. It's not something you're going to want to put in, but there is a Signpost uncommon for every single draft format, and almost all of them are going to be 2-color, depending on the specific draft format at hand. What having a variety of uncommon wildcards lets you do is, when you're building your Brawl decks, when you are building a deck that is super focused around a particular theme, you might not have all of these specific spells, especially if you, like me, choose to use your wild cards generally to craft cards that are more staples. That way you can have a variety of decks and still recycling a lot of the same cards, but still able to play a bunch of different strategies. By focusing on the uncommon Signpost cards, you can then have much more niche decks and more specific and unique decks, and not worry about being able to craft the cards you need. Or if it's in a particular color combination just really, really strong, like Auroral Procession, you can then craft it without any worry of how many uncommon wildcards you have remaining. The last part of this is that this is especially good advice if you play Standard, because then you're buying packs anyway from the Standard format, you're getting the golden packs, you're completing your collection of Standard legal cards to play. But what if you're playing Brawl? What if the cards that you need are rares and mythics from older sets? Then it might be worth it. It's ultimately your decision, it's your money. I still don't think it's worth it. Just find a different rare that you want to play with. But in that particular situation, my general advice and the kind of heuristic that I go by is not to use wild cards on Standard legal cards. I would rather fire up another draft, open another pack, do something, play Jumpstart. Jumpstart's awesome. It's a very casual way to just throw up Arena and play with some new cards that you don't see every day. It's a lot of fun. I've been doing that a lot recently. But it's a great way to build your collection without needing to use your wild cards. And then I save my wild cards for when I need a card that is no longer being reprinted. This used to be the Shocklands. I would use my wild cards on getting Shocklands whenever I needed them. Now, I just target specifically, hey, let me get an Edge of Eternities pack. Let me go ahead and get a Lorwyn Eclipse pack, because there's a chance I get a Shockland, and that's okay if I don't, because I do have some of them, and I'm willing to wait and be patient. And I'd rather be using my wild cards to focus on getting the specific cards that I really need to complete my deck, that I know that otherwise I'm going to be wasting all my gems and gold on older packs that I can't really draft anymore and that don't give me that extra bonus of the golden pack or the vault progression. That's my humble opinion. I hope that this scam doesn't get you. I hope that you use this to up your wild card rate, your vault progression, and I hope that you enjoy this little sneak peek video of what's coming up next. We'll be switching up some things on the channel. Gonna be doing videos a lot less frequently. Some more gameplay still, but I'm hoping to move a bit more into strategy, just as some of my ideas require a little bit more time to put into place. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed, and there are more games to play, strategy to analyze, and unfortunately, work to do. I'm Supreme Verdicts. Have a wonderful rest of your day.